The day started like any other for Dr. Olivia Reyes on the research ship Halcyon. She checked her patients, reviewed medical charts, and prepared for her routine day as chief medical officer. The Halcyon was not a military vessel, but a scientific one, built to study the stars and what might live among them. Olivia had joined the crew 3 years ago, leaving behind a promising career at a top hospital in Boston. Space had always called to her, and when the chance came to be part of humanity's journey to the stars, she couldn't say no. At 32, Olivia had already made a name for herself in emergency medicine. She was known for staying calm when others panicked and finding solutions where others saw none. Her dark hair was always pulled back in a neat ponytail, and her steady hands had saved countless lives. But nothing in her training had prepared her for what would happen today. The first sign that something was wrong came when alarms blared throughout the ship. Olivia was in the middle of treating a minor burn on a lab technician's hand when the noise started. Red lights flashed in the hallways. "All senior staff to the bridge immediately," Captain Diane Miller's voice announced over the speakers. "This is not a drill." Olivia quickly finished bandaging the technician's hand. "Keep it clean and come back tomorrow," she said before rushing out of the medical bay. When she arrived at the bridge, she found the rest of the senior staff already gathered. Captain Miller stood before the main view screen, her face serious. On the screen was something Olivia had never seen before. A ship, but not a human one. It was black and smooth, shaped like a teardrop, with no visible engines or windows. It simply hung in space about 2 miles from the Halcyon. "It appeared 10 minutes ago," Captain Miller said. "No warning, no signs of approach, it just materialized." "Is it scanning us?" asked Chief Engineer Pat Gordon, a woman who had spent 30 years building and fixing spacecraft. "Yes," said Communications Officer Samantha Wells. "And they're broadcasting something on all frequencies. It sounds like a distress call." The sound played through the bridge speakers. It wasn't a language anyone knew, but the tone was clear, urgent, pleading. "Translation programs are working on it," Samantha added. Dr. Reyes stepped closer to the screen, studying the alien vessel. "Have we sent a response?" "Earth Command wants us to keep our distance," Captain Miller replied. "They're sending a military escort, ETA 16 hours. Just then the alien message changed. The strange words gave way to broken English. Help, royal, dying, medical, failing. The bridge fell silent. "They learned our language that quickly?" Pat whispered. "Or they already knew it," Captain Miller said. The message continued, clearer now. "Human vessel. We need medical help. Our royal passenger is dying. Our medical systems are failing. Please assist." All eyes turned to Dr. Reyes. "Absolutely not," Security Chief Laura Bell said firmly. "This could be a trap. We know nothing about them." "If they wanted to attack, why ask for medical help?" Olivia countered. "And if someone is dying and I can help, I have to try." Captain Miller looked troubled. "Earth Command was very clear." "Earth Command isn't here," Olivia interrupted. "By the time they arrive, whoever needs help could be dead." The captain sighed. "Dr. Reyes, even if I wanted to let you go, we don't know anything about their biology, their diseases." "Then let me find out," Olivia said. "Let me talk to them at least." After a long moment, Captain Miller nodded to Samantha. "Open a channel." Samantha pressed a few buttons. "Go ahead, Doctor." Olivia took a deep breath. "This is Dr. Olivia Reyes from the Earth research vessel Halcyon. We received your distress call. Can you tell us more about the medical emergency?" The response came quickly. "Dr. Reyes, I am Kale, Royal Physician to Princess Niara of the Lissari Collective. Our princess suffers from an unknown illness. Her life signs weaken by the hour. Our medical technology cannot combat it." "Can you share her symptoms and your biological data?" Olivia asked. "We will transmit what we have," Kyle replied. "Soon." Olivia's tablet filled with strange diagrams and readings. Most made no sense, but some were clear enough. Heart rate, faster than human normal. Breathing, shallow. Blood pressure, dropping. The being was humanoid, but with significant differences in anatomy. I need more information, Olivia said to the captain. I need to see the patient. Out of the question, Laura objected. We have protective suits, Olivia argued. I can take basic equipment, go over with a small team, and if they take you hostage? If they infect you with something we can't cure? Laura countered. The alien voice interrupted. We understand your concerns. We will send a small vessel to bring one medical officer. We give our word as Lysari that no harm will come to them. Captain Miller looked at Olivia. This goes against all first contact protocols. With respect, Captain, we're beyond protocols now. Someone is dying who might not have to. After a tense discussion with Earth Command, who reluctantly approved the mission with strict conditions, Olivia prepared to board the alien shuttle. She packed a medical kit with basic tools and medicines, though she had no idea if any would work on an alien. Body Laura insisted on sending 2 security officers, but the aliens agreed to accept only Olivia. The princess's chamber is sealed to prevent contamination, they explained. Only one may enter. As Olivia waited in the airlock for the alien shuttle to dock, Captain Miller approached her. You don't have to do this, the captain said quietly. Olivia, check the seals on her protective suit one more time. Yes, I do. It's why I became a doctor. The shuttle that arrived was small and elegant, piloted by a being whose skin glowed with blue light. The pilot said nothing as Olivia boarded, but nodded respectfully. The journey to the alien ship took only minutes. As they approached, Olivia saw that the black teardrop was much larger than it had first appeared, nearly a mile long. The shuttle entered through an opening that closed seamlessly behind them. When the door opened, Olivia stepped into a world unlike anything she had ever seen. The walls pulsed like they were breathing. Lights flowed like water along curved hallways. The air, when she finally removed her helmet at the alien's assurance it was safe, smelled like cinnamon and ozone. Kale was waiting for her. The alien physician was tall and slender, with skin that glowed with patterns of light that seemed to shift with emotion. 2 guards stood nearby, holding what Olivia assumed were weapons. Dr. Reyes, Kale said with a small bow. You honor us with your courage. The princess waits. We must hurry. As they moved through the living ship toward the princess's chambers, Olivia tried to prepare herself for what she would find. But nothing could have prepared her for the sight of Princess Niara, lying in a crystal chamber, her once beautiful azure skin now dull and gray, as patterns of dying light flickered across her form. Olivia stood at the edge of the crystal chamber, looking down at the alien princess. Princess Niara looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin, now a dull gray, had patterns of light that moved slowly across it like ripples on water. Her face had 2 large eyes, closed now in pain, a small nose, and lips that had a slight blue tint. Her hair was not hair at all, but thin strands of light that changed colors as they moved. How long has she been sick? Olivia asked, putting down her medical bag and pulling out a scanner. 7 days, Kale replied. The alien doctor's own skin flashed with patterns that Olivia guessed showed worry. It began with pain in her lower body, then fever. Then the light patterns began to fade. Olivia wanted to use her scanner, but wasn't sure if it would work on alien biology. May I scan her? I don't know if my equipment will understand her body systems. Kyle nodded. Our bodies are carbon-based, like yours. There are differences, but your scanner may still help. Olivia ran the scanner over the princess's body. The readings made some sense. High temperature, irregular heartbeat, though the Lysari seemed to have 2 hearts, and something strange in the bloodstream. There's something in her blood that shouldn't be there, Olivia said, frowning at the scanner. Can I take a sample to look at it more closely? Kyle looked nervous but agreed. The royal blood is sacred, but to save her life, yes. Olivia carefully took a blood sample from the princess. The blood was darker than human blood, with tiny points of light in it. She put a drop under her portable microscope and gasped. What is it? Kyle asked, moving closer. There are tiny machines in her blood, Olivia said, adjusting the microscope to see better. Very, very small machines, They're attacking her blood cells. Kyle's skin flashed bright yellow. Machines? Not a disease? No, not a natural disease, Olivia confirmed. These are nanobots, tiny robots. They're programmed to destroy her blood cells. The guards by the door stirred at this news, their hands tightening on their weapons. One said something in their language to Kale, who replied sharply. What did he say? Olivia asked. He said this confirms our fears. Someone tried to kill the princess. Olivia looked back at the microscope. These nanobots are very advanced. They target specific cells. This wasn't an accident. It was meant to kill her slowly. Can you stop them? Kyle asked. Olivia thought, hard. Her medical training hadn't covered nanobots in alien bloodstreams. I need to know more about how your bodies work. Do you have any medicines that fight small invaders in the blood? We have cleansers, Kyle said, moving to a wall that opened at his touch. He took out a vial of glowing blue liquid. This removes harmful particles from our blood, but it hasn't worked on the princess. That's because these aren't just particles, they're machines that can adapt, Olivia explained. We need to shut them down, not just remove them. She thought about human treatments for similar problems. On Earth, we sometimes use electromagnetic pulses to disable electronic devices. Would a small, controlled pulse harm the princess? Kale's skin flashed patterns of concern. It might disrupt her natural light patterns. These are not just for show. They are part of how our bodies function. What about your ship's systems? How do you power them? Olivia asked, an idea forming. We use crystal resonance, Kale said. The crystals vibrate at specific frequencies to create energy. Can you show me? Olivia asked. Kyle led her to a small panel near the princess's bed. Inside were crystals of different colors, all humming softly. Each frequency does something different, Kyle explained. This blue one powers life support. The green regulates temperature. Olivia looked at her scanner again, checking the frequency of the nanobots in the princess's blood. I need a crystal that can produce a very specific frequency, one that will disrupt the nanobots without harming the princess. For the next several hours, Olivia and Kale worked to find the right crystal combination. They tested different frequencies on blood samples, watching through the microscope to see which ones affected the nanobots. Many times they failed, with the nanobots continuing their deadly work. Twice they found frequencies that stopped the nanobots but would also harm the princess. Olivia barely noticed as one day turned into two. She slept only when she couldn't keep her eyes open anymore, curled up on a small bed the Lissari provided, near the princess's chamber. She ate strange but tasty Lissari food that glowed softly. Captain Miller called several times, concerned about her long stay on the alien ship, but Olivia assured her that she was safe and making progress. On the third day they had a breakthrough. Look, Olivia said excitedly, pointing at the microscope. This combination is working, the nanobots are shutting down. Kyle leaned over to see. His skin lit up with hopeful patterns. You are right, they are stopping their attack. We need that to create this exact frequency and expose the princess's entire bloodstream to it, Olivia said. But how? I have an idea, Kyle said. He went to a cabinet and brought out a small device that looked like a bracelet. This is a personal shield generator. We can reprogram it to emit our frequency instead of a shield. Together, they modified the device. It took several more hours of careful work, with Olivia using her medical knowledge and Kale using his understanding of Lissari technology. Finally, they had a bracelet that emitted exactly the right frequency to disable the nanobots. It's ready, Olivia said, holding up the bracelet. But I have to warn you, this has never been tested on a full body. It might not work, or it might have side effects we can't predict. If we do nothing, the princess will die. Kyle said simply, we must try. They approached Princess Niara's crystal chamber. The princess looked worse than before, her skin now almost completely gray, the light patterns barely visible. Olivia carefully placed the modified bracelet on the princess's wrist. Here goes, Olivia said, and activated the device. The bracelet began to glow, sending waves of energy through the princess's body. For a long moment, Nothing happened. Then, slowly the princess's skin began to brighten. The gray color faded, replaced by a soft blue that grew stronger by the minute. The light patterns flowed faster and more brightly. "It's working!" Cale exclaimed, his own skin flashing with joy. Olivia checked her scanner. "The nanobots are shutting down. Her vital signs are improving." They watched in amazement as Princess Niara's condition improved rapidly. Within an hour, her skin was a vibrant azure blue, covered with complex patterns of white light. Her breathing became deeper and more regular. Finally, her eyes opened, large purple eyes that looked up in confusion. "Cale," the princess said weakly. "What happened?" Cale bowed deeply. "You were poisoned, Your Highness. Nanobots in your bloodstream. This human doctor saved your life." The princess turned her gaze to Olivia. "A human? From the new species?" "Yes." "Your Highness," Olivia said, feeling suddenly awkward. "I'm Dr. Olivia Reyes from Earth." Princess Niara studied her with those large purple eyes. "You risked much to help me, a stranger from the stars?" "I'm a doctor," Olivia said simply. "Helping the sick is what I do, no matter where they're from." The princess smiled, an expression surprisingly similar to a human smile. "The Lissari do not forget such debts, Dr. Reyes. My father, King Thalrian, will want to thank you personally." One of the guards stepped forward and spoke rapidly to the princess. She listened, then turned back to Olivia with a more serious expression. "It seems our time grows short. My father's ship will arrive soon, and your captain has been requesting your return." "I should get back to my ship," Olivia agreed. "They'll be worried." "Before you go," Princess Niara said, "I must ask. The nanobots, they were not natural. Who would do this?" Olivia looked at Cale, unsure how to answer. The alien doctor's skin pattern showed conflict. "We believe it was the Vexari," Cale said finally. "Our old enemies. They must have learned of our mission to contact Earth and sought to prevent it." "By killing me?" the princess asked. "By killing the only royal family member who supported peaceful contact with humans," Cale explained. "Your death would have set back relations between our peoples by decades." Princess Niara turned to Olivia. "Then you have done more than save one life, Dr. Reyes. You may have saved the future relationship between our worlds." Olivia felt the weight of those words as she packed up her equipment. She had come to treat a patient but found herself in the middle of interstellar politics. As she prepared to leave, the princess called to her once more. "Dr. Reyes, will you return when my father arrives? He will wish to honor you properly." Olivia looked into those alien yet expressive eyes and found she couldn't refuse. "If my captain allows it, yes, I'll come back." What Olivia didn't know, as she boarded the shuttle to return to the Halcyon, was that proper honor in Lissari culture meant something very different than she imagined. Her life was about to change in ways she could never have predicted. Olivia stood nervously on the Halcyon's observation deck, watching as a massive ship appeared near the Lissari princess's vessel. The new ship was enormous, easily 20 times larger than the Halcyon, shaped like a star with 5 points and covered in the same black reflective material as the princess's ship. Lights rippled across its surface in complex patterns. "That's King Thalrian's royal ship," Captain Miller said, standing next to Olivia. "Earth Command is going crazy over this. 2 alien ships in our solar system, and now they're saying a king wants to meet us." "Not us," Olivia corrected. "Me. He wants to thank me for saving his daughter." It had been 2 days since Olivia had returned to the Halcyon. Princess Niara had recovered quickly, and now sent daily messages asking when Olivia would return for the king's arrival. Captain Miller had been reluctant, but Earth Command, eager to establish good relations with an advanced alien species, had ordered her to cooperate. "Are you sure about this?" Miller asked. "You don't have to go." "I do, actually," Olivia replied. "Earth Command made that pretty clear. Besides, I want to. Princess Niara seems nice." Miller nodded. "Just be careful. Take your communication device and check in every hour. At the first sign of trouble, we'll come get you." Olivia smiled. "I saved their princess. I don't think they're going to hurt me now. An hour later, Olivia was aboard a Lysari shuttle heading toward the king's massive ship. Kyle sat across from her, his skin pattern showing what she now recognized as excitement. The king is most eager to meet you, Kale said. Saving a royal life is the highest honor one can achieve in our culture. I was just doing my job, Olivia said modestly. Few would risk themselves for a stranger from the stars, Kale replied. The king will recognize your courage appropriately. The shuttle docked inside the royal ship, which was even more impressive up close. The interior was like the princess's ship, but grander, with higher ceilings and wider corridors. The walls, pulsed with more complex patterns, and the air smelled of sweet spices. Lysari crew members stopped to stare at Olivia as she walked by, their skin lighting up with curious patterns. Kale led her to a massive room that could only be a throne room. The ceiling arched high overhead, seeming to contain actual stars that twinkled and moved. At the far end stood a raised platform with a crystal throne that glowed with inner light, and on that throne sat King Thalrian. The king was taller than the other Lysari, with deeper blue skin covered in more complex light patterns. He wore a robe that seemed made of liquid silver, and a crown of crystal points adorned his head. Princess Yara stood beside him, fully recovered and radiant in a gown that shifted colors as she moved. As Olivia approached, hundreds of Lysari nobles watched from the sides of the room. She suddenly felt very small and very human. Father, Princess Nyara said, her voice carrying clearly through the large space. This is Dr. Olivia Reyes of Earth, the one who saved my life. King Thalrian rose from his throne and stepped down to meet Olivia. Up close, he was even more imposing, standing nearly 7 feet tall. His eyes, the same purple as his daughter's, studied Olivia intently. Dr. Olivia Reyes, the king said, his deep voice rumbling pleasantly. My daughter has told me how you worked tirelessly to save her when our own healers could not. Olivia bowed slightly, unsure of the proper protocol. It was my honor to help. Your Majesty, I'm glad Princess Nyara has recovered fully. Indeed she has, the king said. And now we must honor you as befits one who has preserved the royal bloodline. The king turned to address the gathered nobles. As many of you know, the attack on my daughter was not simply an attack on her life, but an attack on our future relations with Earth. The Vexari seek to isolate us, to prevent new alliances that might threaten their power. They failed, thanks to this human doctor. The nobles murmured among themselves, their skin patterns flashing in what looked like agreement. In accordance with our most sacred laws, the king continued, one who saves. Royal blood becomes royal blood. Olivia wasn't sure what that meant, but it sounded like some kind of honorary title. She smiled politely. Dr. Olivia Reyes of Earth, the king said formally. I hereby welcome you into the royal family of the Lysari Collective, through the ancient rite of Thalaxia, union with the one whose life you preserved. Olivia's translator must have malfunctioned. She looked at Kale in confusion. Union, she whispered. What does that mean? Before Kale could answer, Princess Nyara stepped forward and took Olivia's hands in hers. The princess's skin was warm, and tiny light patterns traveled from her hands to Olivia's, creating a pleasant tingling sensation. It means, Princess Nyara said softly, that you and I are to be joined as life partners, as mates. I believe humans call it marriage. Olivia's mouth fell open. Marriage? But we hardly know each other. The room had gone completely silent. The king looked confused by Olivia's reaction. Is this not a great honor among your people? He asked. To join with royalty? Well, yes, but... Olivia struggled to find the right. For us on Earth, marriage usually comes after two people have spent time together, fallen in love. Princess Nyara's skin patterns shifted to what Olivia now recognized as embarrassment. I did not explain our customs clearly to my father, she said. Humans have different ways. The king frowned. This is unexpected. The union ceremony is prepared. The nobles have gathered from 17 worlds to witness it. Captain Miller's voice suddenly came through Olivia's communication device. Dr. Reyes, is everything all right? Your heart rate just spiked. Olivia took a deep breath. Everything's fine, Captain, just a cultural misunderstanding we're working through. She turned back to the king and princess. Your Majesty, I'm deeply honored by this offer, but I need to explain that on Earth this would be very sudden. The king stroked his chin thoughtfully. I see. Perhaps we have been too hasty. Would you prefer a longer courtship period, as is your custom? Before Olivia could answer, a royal advisor hurried into the room and whispered urgently to the king. The king's skin patterns flared with alarm. It seems, the king said grimly, that we have no time for Earth customs. A Vexari battle fleet has been detected entering this system. They claim to be coming for a diplomatic mission, but our intelligence suggests they plan to attack both our ships and possibly Earth itself. Gasps and flashing light patterns spread through the crowd of nobles. Without a formal union, the advisor said, Earth has no protection under the Galactic Compact. The Vexari would be within their rights to claim that humans interfered in important internal licery matter. Olivia realized with growing horror the situation she was in. Are you saying that if I don't marry Princess Niara, Earth could be in danger? The king nodded solemnly. The Vexari look for any excuse to use force. Without the protection that comes from being formally allied through royal union, they may claim that humans illegally interfered in Lissari affairs by treating the princess. That's ridiculous, Olivia exclaimed. It is politics, the king replied, simply. Interstellar politics with rules established over thousands of years. Princess Niara stepped closer to Olivia. I would not force this upon you, she said quietly. But you should know that the Vexari are not to be taken lightly. They have destroyed worlds before. Olivia's mind raced. This was insane. She had come to space to explore, to learn, to heal, not to get married to an alien princess to prevent an interstellar war. But what choice did she have? The lives of everyone on Earth could be at stake. If I agree, Olivia said slowly, what exactly would this union mean? Would I have to live here? Leave Earth? The king and princess exchanged looks. The union requires that you spend at least half of each year with your royal mate, the king explained. You would divide your time between our worlds and Earth. You would become a royal consort with all the privileges and responsibilities that entails. And what are those responsibilities? Olivia asked. To attend royal functions, to advise on matters concerning Earth, to learn our ways as we learn yours, to, the princess hesitated, potentially produce heirs, though that is not immediately required. Olivia's eyes widened. Heirs? Is that even biologically possible between our species? With our genetic science, yes, Kale interjected, though it would require some adaptation. Olivia's communication device crackled again. Dr. Reyes, Earth Command is picking up multiple ships entering the system, Captain Miller said, her voice tense. They're asking what's happening over there. Olivia took a deep breath. Tell them I'm negotiating an alliance. She looked at Princess Niara, really looked at her. The princess was beautiful in an alien way, her azure skin glowing. With complex patterns, her purple eyes filled with intelligence and kindness. In the days they had worked together to fight the nanobots, Olivia had come to respect her courage and quick mind. This wasn't how Olivia had imagined her life would go, but perhaps... If I agree to this union, Olivia said firmly, I have conditions. First, I must be allowed to continue my work as a doctor. Second, Earth must receive protection and technological assistance from the Lysari. Third, I want to know everything about your customs before I agree to follow them. The king's skin pattern shifted to what looked like respect. Your conditions are reasonable and accepted. You will not be merely a symbolic consort. You will have real duties and real power. 6 months had passed since Olivia had become the royal consort to Princess Niara. The union ceremony had been beautiful and strange, with glowing crystals that linked their minds briefly, allowing each to feel what the other felt. Earth had been shocked when they learned of the arrangement, but after the Vexari ships arrived and saw the formal union was complete, they had backed away, unwilling to challenge the ancient laws that now protected Earth through its royal connection. Olivia, had spent 3 months on the Lysari royal homeworld, a beautiful planet with 2 moons and vast oceans that glowed at night. She had learned the language, though she still relied on her translator for complex conversations. She had met nobles from 17 worlds that made up the Lysari collective. And slowly, she had grown closer to Nyara, finding in the alien princess a keen mind and gentle heart that transcended their physical differences. Now they were back in Earth's solar system, aboard the royal ship. Olivia stood in the war room, looking at holographic displays that showed battles raging across 3 star systems. The Vexari, frustrated by their failure to prevent the human-Lysari alliance, had launched attacks on outlying Lysari worlds. They believe our focus on Earth has weakened our defenses elsewhere, Nyara explained, standing beside Olivia. The princess wore a silver uniform that matched Olivia's own, marking them both as royal commanders. These attack patterns are strange, Olivia said, studying the holographic battles. Red ships representing Vexari forces moved in formations that seemed both chaotic and purposeful. They're not trying to hold territory. They hit and run. That is not the Vexari way, agreed General Lauren, the Lysari military leader whose skin patterns always showed carefully controlled intensity. They typically fight to conquer and hold. Olivia walked around the display, thinking hard. In the 6 months since her union with Nyara, she had studied Lysari military history and tactics. Her human perspective often gave her insights the Lysari missed. They're drawing your forces out, she said suddenly. Look here and here. She pointed to 2 separate battle sites. Each time your ships respond, they retreat, only to attack somewhere else. They're testing your response patterns. General Lauren's skin flashed with alarm. Using our defensive protocols against us? Exactly, Olivia said. They're learning how you respond to different types of threats so they can predict your movements. Nyara moved closer to the display. If that's true, then all these attacks are just preparation for something bigger. The question is, what's their real target? Olivia mused. As if in answer, a communication officer rushed into the war room. Your Highnesses, we've received a distress call from Research Station Lumina in the Cygnus system. They're under attack by a Vexari battleship. General Lauren's patterns showed confusion. Lumina? It's just a scientific outpost. Why would they target it? Nyara's skin paled to a lighter blue. The dimensional gate research. Lumina is where our scientists are developing the new faster-than-light travel technology. If the Vexari get that technology, General Lauren said, grimly, they could strike anywhere in the galaxy without warning. Olivia studied the display as it updated to show the Cygnus system. We need to send help immediately. All our nearby battle groups are engaged with the diversionary attacks, the general pointed out. By the time we recall them, Lumina could be lost. Olivia looked at the ship positions, her mind racing. What about the Earth Defense Fleet? They're not far from Cygnus. The Earth Fleet was small but equipped with Lysari technology as part of the Alliance. Though primarily defensive, they had trained with Lysari tactics. They aren't battle-tested, General Loren objected. And they would be outnumbered. But they would be unexpected, Olivia countered. The Vexari don't consider human ships a threat. They might not even recognize them as military vessels. Nyara nodded, her skin patterns showing approval. Olivia's right. The Earth fleet could approach Lumina while appearing to be civilian research vessels. And we have one advantage the Vexari don't know about, Olivia added, human unpredictability. While Lysari military tactics were based on precise calculations and established protocols, humans had a talent for improvisation that often confused their Lysari allies. Olivia had seen Lysari officers struggle to understand why a human captain might choose a less efficient but more surprising approach. The Vexari will be expecting a response that follows Lysari tactical doctrines, Olivia explained. Earth captains don't know those doctrines well enough to follow them perfectly. They'll do what seems right to them in the moment. General Loren still looked doubtful, but Nyara's royal authority settled the matter. Contact the Earth fleet. Ask for volunteers for a rescue mission to Lumina. Tell them they will be facing a superior force but will have the advantage of surprise. Within hours, 5 Earth ships, led by the UES Defender, were on their way to Lumina. Olivia and Niara joined them aboard the royal cruiser Starlight, a smaller, faster vessel than the king's massive ship. "Are you sure we should be going ourselves?" Olivia asked as they prepared for potential combat. "Isn't it risky for both royal consorts to be in the same battle?" Niara's skin patterns showed determination mixed with affection. "My people need to see that I fight for them, and your people need to see that you still fight for Earth." The journey to Lumina took 2 days at maximum speed. When they arrived, they found the research station under heavy bombardment from a massive Vexari battleship called the Eternal Shadow. The station's shields were failing and distress calls filled the communication channels. "The Earth fleet is in position," reported the Starlight's captain. "They're ready to begin the rescue operation." "The Vexari ship is 10 times their combined size," General Lauren pointed out from his position at the tactical display, "and their weapons are far superior." "Size isn't everything," Olivia said with a small smile. During the planning sessions, she had suggested a tactic that had made the Lissari officers deeply uncomfortable: deliberate system overloads to create unpredictable energy surges. "Execute Plan Thunderstorm," Niara ordered. The Earthship sprang into action. Instead of attacking the Vexari battleship directly, they positioned themselves at 5 points around it and began flooding the area with sensor echoes and false signals. To the Vexari, it would appear that a much larger fleet had arrived. "They're confused," General Lauren reported, watching the Vexari ship's reactions. "They've stopped bombarding the station and are trying to identify the new arrivals." Next came the most dangerous part of the plan. 2 Earth ships deliberately overloaded their power systems, creating massive energy bursts that disrupted the Vexari ship's shields at 2 key points. It was a tactic no Lissari captain would ever use, deliberately damaging their own ships to gain an advantage. "Shields down in Sector 7 and 12, called the sensor officer. "Now, Niara," Olivia said urgently. Niara gave the command, and the Starlight fired its main weapon, not at the Vexari ship but at the space just behind it. The concentrated energy beam tore a hole in spacetime, creating a miniature dimensional rift. "The gravity pull is working," General Lauren said, watching, as the rift began to draw on the massive Vexari ship. "They're trying to break free, but their engines aren't powerful enough." The Vexari commander, realizing his ship was trapped, sent a direct communication to the Starlight. A harsh face appeared on the screen, with red skin and black eyes that showed no light patterns. "This tactic does not follow Lissari battle doctrine," the commander accused. "Who designed this trap?" Niara stepped forward, her royal regalia glinting in the bridge lights. "I am Princess Niara of the Lissari Collective, and this is my consort, Dr. Olivia Reyes of Earth." The commander's eyes narrowed. "The human consort I see now, using human chaos against us." "Not chaos," Olivia corrected, stepping up beside her wife. "Creativity." The Vexari commander studied her with new interest. "Perhaps we underestimated your species. This is not over, human consort. The Vexari will adapt." The communication cut off as the Eternal Shadow was pulled further into the dimensional rift. It wouldn't destroy the ship, but it would trap it between dimensions for months, effectively removing it from the war. "Rescue ships to the station," Niara ordered. "Get those scientists out of there." As the Earth fleet moved to evacuate the research station, Olivia felt a new weight of responsibility. She had just helped win a significant battle, not as a doctor, but as a military strategist. Lives had been saved, but she had also helped trap hundreds of Vexari soldiers in a dimensional prison. Later, alone in their quarters aboard the Starlight, Olivia shared her mixed feelings with Niara. "I became a doctor to heal people," she said quietly. "Now I'm planning military operations." Niara's skin patterns showed understanding. "You're still healing, my love. Today you helped heal a wound that was being inflicted on our people. The scientists at Lumina would have died without your plan." Olivia nodded, but still felt troubled. "I just never expected my life to take this turn. 6 months ago I was just a ship's doctor. Now I'm a royal consort, helping to fight an interstellar war." Niara took Olivia's hands, sending comforting, light patterns across their joined fingers. "You are still a healer, But now you heal on a larger scale, helping to heal relations between our peoples, helping to heal the wounds of war. 2 years had passed since Olivia first stepped aboard the alien ship to save a dying princess. Now she stood on the observation deck of the Royal Palace ship, watching as a small Earth vessel approached the massive hangar bay. Her parents were on that ship, coming to visit for the 3rd time since her life had changed so dramatically. Nervous? Niara asked, coming to stand beside her. The princess, now queen-in-waiting since King Thalrian had announced his plans to step down within the year, wore a simple blue gown that highlighted her azure skin. The light patterns that flowed across her body showed concern, mixed with amusement. A little, Olivia admitted. The last time they visited, my mother kept asking when we were going to give her grandchildren. Niara's skin flashed with what Olivia now easily recognized as laughter. Well, we have good news for her this time. Olivia placed a hand on her stomach, still flat but soon to change. The royal nursery was nearly complete, a blend of human comfort and Lycery technology. Their child would be the first of its kind, created through a combination of their genetic material and advanced Lycery science. The royal geneticists had worked for months to make it possible, and the pregnancy was just beginning. Do you think Earth is ready for the first human Lycery child? Olivia asked, watching as the Earth ship was guided into the docking bay by tractor beams. Earth has adapted remarkably well to everything else, Niara replied. 2 years ago, humans didn't know aliens existed. Now Lycery ships visit Earth regularly and human scientists study at our academies. It was true. The Alliance had grown stronger since the battle at Lumina. The Vexari threat had receded after their flagship was trapped between dimensions. They still made occasional raids on outlying systems, but nothing like the coordinated attacks of before. The dimensional gate technology had been successfully moved from Lumina to a more secure location, and research continued. Olivia had divided her time between Earth and Lycery space, as her union agreement allowed. On Earth, she had established a new medical research center that combined human and Lycery healing techniques. On Lycery worlds, she had gradually taken on more royal responsibilities, learning the complex politics of the 17 worlds that made up the collective. Remember when I couldn't even pronounce the names of the noble houses? Olivia said with a smile. Now I'm negotiating trade agreements between them. You were always a quick learner, Niara said, pride in her light patterns. And you brought fresh perspectives that we needed. The old ways weren't working anymore. King Thalrian had recognized Olivia's unique value early on. As a human who understood Lycery culture but wasn't bound by its traditions, she could suggest solutions that no Lycery would consider. Slowly, she had helped modernize some of the more rigid royal protocols, making the monarchy more accessible to ordinary Lycery. We should go greet them, Olivia said as a chime indicated the Earthship had completed docking procedures. My mom will be annoyed if we keep her waiting. They made their way to the royal reception area, accompanied by 2 guards whose presence Olivia had finally gotten used to. As the future queens of the Lycery collective, she and Niara were never truly alone in public spaces. The reception hall was decorated with a mixture of Lycery crystal art and items from Earth, paintings, sculptures, and photographs that Olivia had brought to help her feel at home. The effect was striking, the 2 cultures complementing each other in unexpected ways. The doors opened, and Olivia's parents entered, accompanied by a royal attendant. Her mother, Susan, looked around with wide-eyed wonder despite having visited twice before. The grandeur of Lycery royal architecture never failed to impress. Her father, Alan, looked more comfortable, his doctor's curiosity always engaged by Lycery technology. Mom, Dad. Olivia moved forward to embrace them, her royal robes flowing around her. The embedded light crystals in her clothing pulsed in patterns that reflected her joy. Olivia, honey, her mother exclaimed, hugging her tightly. You look more like a space queen every time I see you. Not quite a queen yet, Olivia laughed. Coronation isn't for another 6 months. Her father hugged her next, then nodded respectfully to Niara. Princess Niara, you're looking well. Those new light patterns on your arms. Does that mean what? I think it does, Niara's skin flashed with pleasure. Dr. Reyes, you've been studying our biology. Yes, these patterns indicate a royal house preparing for expansion. Susan gasped, looking from Niara to Olivia. Are you saying, yes, Mom? Olivia said, unable to keep from smiling. You're going to be a grandmother. The shriek of joy that followed caused the royal guards to tense momentarily before they realized it was just human excitement. Susan hugged both Olivia and Niara, tears streaming down her face. When? How? I mean, I know how, but actually I don't know how with you two being different species, but oh, who cares, a grandbaby? Alan put a calming hand on his wife's shoulder. What your mother means to ask is, how far along are you, and is everything progressing normally? I'm about 8 weeks along, Olivia explained as they moved to the comfortable sitting area. And yes, everything is normal, for a completely unprecedented human lycery pregnancy. Over refreshments, earth coffee for her parents, glowing lycery, tea for Niara, and a blend of both that Olivia had grown to love. They explained the complex process that had made the pregnancy possible. We combined our genetic material using lycery techniques, Olivia explained. Then they modified it to ensure compatibility and stability. The baby will have characteristics of both species. Will it glow? Susan asked bluntly, gesturing to Niara's light patterns. Niara's patterns showed amusement. Some bioluminescence is likely, yes, but probably less pronounced than full lycery patterns. And the baby is developing in Olivia rather than you? Alan asked, his medical curiosity engaged. Yes, Niara confirmed. Our geneticists determined that a human womb would be more adaptable to the hybrid embryo. Lycery physiological systems are more rigid. As they continued talking, catching up on family news from Earth and developments in the Lycery royal court, Olivia felt a deep contentment. These moments of normal family conversation grounded her amid the often overwhelming responsibilities of her position. Later that day, after showing her parents to their guest quarters, a suite larger than the house Olivia grew up in, she and Niara retired to their private chambers. The royal suite was a perfect blend of their tastes, Lycery crystal technology and organic architecture combined with human furniture and the simple comforts Olivia had insisted on, like a real shower, with water instead of the sonic cleansers Lycery preferred. Your mother seems very excited about the baby, Niara observed as they prepared for bed. She's been waiting for grandchildren for years, Olivia replied, though I doubt she ever imagined her first grandchild would be half alien royalty. And your father? He seemed more reserved. Olivia smiled. That's just his way. He's processing all the medical implications. By tomorrow, he'll have 1,000 questions for the royal physicians. As they settled into bed, the room's lights automatically dimming to a soft glow that complemented Niara's natural light patterns, Olivia thought about how far she had come. From a ship's doctor to the future co-ruler of 17 worlds, with a hybrid baby on the way in peace between species that had never known of each other's existence 3 years ago. What are you thinking about? Niara asked, her light patterns shifting to the intimate configuration that only Olivia ever saw. Everything, Olivia admitted. How strange and wonderful life is. How one decision, to board an alien ship to help a sick princess, changed everything. Do you regret it? Niara asked, a question she still posed occasionally, knowing how much Olivia had given up to join her life to the Lycery. Never, Olivia said firmly, taking her wife's hand and watching, their fingers intertwine human skin against glowing blue. It was unexpected, but it was right. The Vexari ambassador arrives tomorrow, Niara reminded her, changing the subject to the pressing matters of state that were never far away. The first formal diplomatic contact since the battle at Lumina. Do you think they're serious about peace talks? Olivia asked. They've seen what happens when they underestimate us, especially the human element they hadn't accounted for, Niara replied. And with the dimensional gate technology now operational, they know we could reach their homeworld if we chose to. The dimensional gates, now successfully deployed throughout Lycery space, had revolutionized travel between the 17 worlds. The technology would soon be shared with Earth, though in a limited capacity at first. The ability to step from one world to another in an instant, had profound implications for both commerce and defense. I still think we should offer them limited access to the Gate network, Olivia said, returning to an ongoing debate between them. Show them the benefits of cooperation rather than conflict. Many in the royal court would consider that naive, Nyara pointed out. Maybe, Olivia conceded. But lasting peace doesn't come from fear alone. We need to give them a path to become partners rather than enemies. Nyara's light patterns showed thoughtful consideration. This is why we need both of us ruling together. Your human perspective balances our Lysari traditions.